So Destiny went on Piers Morgan recently and went nuclear, refusing at the end to even condemn the shooting against Donald Trump. So we're going to watch this video. I want to start this video by saying that I personally do condemn the shooting, the attempted killing of Uncle Trump. I will not be voting for Trump. I will be voting for Joe Biden. I am not a Trump supporter. I don't like Trump, but I do not condone or support attempts on Uncle Trump's life, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not getting down like that, okay? I will solve my voting issues at the ballot box, but I will not be voting for Uncle Trump. Well, let's see what's going on with Destiny.
Well, and also for the current president of the United States to be asked, do you have any soul searching about the language you've used, given that days before this shooting, he told donors that it was time to put Trump in the bullseye. And then he tries to dance his way out of this by claiming, I didn't say crosshairs, as if somehow when you talk about human beings, bullseye or crosshairs mean any difference. Obviously, he didn't mean, I think Donald Trump should be shot. But obviously, if you're a deranged young lunatic with an impressionable mind, who the hell knows what that kind of language? We don't know yet. Right, about any of the motivation. Apparently, there's a kind of very, very strange, again, a very strange lack of information that they've been able to find out about this young shooter.
Piers, of course, but you also have to understand that there has been an entire media machine, mainstream media machine and Democrat elite that for years, since before Donald Trump was president, have been calling him Hitler and his supporters Nazis. What would someone do if they truly believe that? I'm not directly linking this to Biden's bullseye comment, as irresponsible as it may be, or anyone else's specific comment. But over time in culture, if things get normalized, and yes, this man is going to put us in camps, and you can turn on MSNBC on any given day, and they're talking about how they're all going to be arrested and taken off the air, and what he's going to do to minorities and gays and everything else. All utter, complete nonsense. At some
Okay, not nonsense. Project 2025 is openly associated with Trump. He denied it. He lied. But all the evidence shows that Donald Trump does know who they are. He's openly associated with them, and many of them have been in his White House administration and will be in his upcoming one. You are a gay conservative, and you are voting for the end of your rights. I'm not going to let you get away with this. No, you are voting for the end of your rights as a gay man. And I'm not going to pretend that gay people are all of a sudden, their rights are safe under another Trump administration. No. Trump tried to dance his way around abortion. He eventually folded on it. Supreme Court went crazy and overturned Roe v. Wade. He bit the bullet on it. And he's still trying to toe the line. And the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas was talking about, maybe gay marriage might be next. So Dave Rubin, your rights are next. Do not pretend like the next administration of Trump won't be threatening the rights of women and gay folks. I don't know when minorities are next, but that's off the table as of right now. But we'll see what happens.
Point, people might get a subtle message and then do something crazy. Again, we don't know if that was what happened I think, now, but we certainly can ask about it.
And I think to be completely fair, I believe Donald Trump has spouted a lot of very ill-advised and occasionally very dangerous rhetoric. And I want both sides to dial it down, because actually where this leads to is where it's led to. And in Britain, we've had 2 members of parliament in the last 10 years murdered by people for political reasons, basically because, lunatics have wanted to eliminate them. Let me bring in Destiny, because you've been at the center, as you know, of a massive online response to what you were saying. And I want to go through what you said, and I want to talk to you about this hopefully in a calm manner to try and understand what you were thinking. So on Saturday evening, hours after the shooting, you said, let me clarify, when I say conflicted, what I mean is I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it. You couldn't find it in your heart to chastise people for celebrating the near assassination of a man who was president of the United States and maybe again?
Before Destiny talks, the truth is that 2 things can be true at the same time. Republicans who watch my channel, I'm not going to lie to you and coddle you. You are voting for the end of women's right to abortion. Project 2025 does promise that, and they are affiliated with Trump's administration. He lied about it. He is associating with them, and they are planning to overturn all abortion rights. They are planning to overturn gay rights. They are planning to implement Christianity in our laws. This is happening. This is going to happen if he wins. Okay? You cannot assume that Donald Trump Plotting with these people to overturn people's actual rights is not going to cause violence. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to coddle you. This is our country on the line, and you are supporting a man who is supporting an organization that is plotting to take away the rights of American people. That is going to cause violence. My problem with Destiny is so angry and frustrated with the fact that all of this has happened and Trump's been shot at and now conservatives won't listen to any critiques of Trump, that he is now unwilling to critique people's celebration of Trump almost dying. I again will vocalize wholeheartedly that I condemn the attempt on Trump's life. Period. Trying to kill political opponents is not the answer. The United States is above this. We've been above this for decades. I thought we left this behind, but we haven't, unfortunately. Destiny needs to realize that no matter how frustrated he is, and I know he's frustrated, let me tell you what Destiny is frustrated about. What's going on in the mind of Destiny is Trump has almost been killed. Now Trump supporters will not listen to anything you say about Trump trying to steal the election by presenting false slates of electors to Vice Pence. Trump lying about Biden trying to have him assassinated with the FBI, even though the FBI contacted Trump ahead of time to make sure he was not within danger. Donald Trump lying about, what else did he lie about? I guess, Ilhan Omar supporting Al-Qaeda. Donald Trump joked about Paul Pelosi's husband being attacked. Donald Trump has done an unbelievable amount of insane things, chief among them being an attempted insurrection on January 6th. Now that Trump's life has had an attempt made on it, Trump supporters will not listen to anything you have to say in critique of him anymore. Period. They won't. I guarantee you they won't. Destiny realizes this, and now he's panicking and freaking out, and, well, if you guys aren't going to acknowledge what you've done, I won't acknowledge. Destiny's losing his composure. I understand why, but Destiny, you got to remember, Trump's a human being. The man's got a family. Last thing that family needs or deserves is to see the rock and the foundation of their home, their household, their family be murdered in front of everyone. I don't get down. I'm not with that. Okay. We've got to understand that although Trump supporters are definitely in the stage of I'm not listening, we cannot engage in advocacy or ambivalent attitudes toward violence. We can't just sit there and say, well, I don't care. We gotta care. Joe Biden is the president, and he's calling the family member of the man killed and offering condolences. And come on, if Joe Biden, the seated president, can still be civil, then we all have to be civil. And I appreciate Joe Biden for maintaining that civility and class. We need it now more than ever.
Absolutely not. Conservatives have completely bled that well dry. And the idea that they, after engaging in the most divisive and most extreme rhetoric that this country has seen in recent history, that they would come on and beg for sympathy, that it's escalated into some kind of violent confrontation is absolutely insane. Even the idea right now of saying, well, if you call somebody a Nazi for so long, it's, what do you expect people to do? I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh call Obama a communist every single day he was on the radio. You've got conservatives that talk about how the mRNA vaccines were ways to sneak microchips into us. You've got COVID lockdowns that were done because the government was trying to take all your freedom away. They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th. They say that the election was stolen and that your country is being taken from you. I don't think anybody should be killed. I don't think anybody should go out and kill anybody. But when you engage in this type of rhetoric and when you turn the temperature up over and over and over and over again, there is absolutely no room for you to be shocked or surprised. And there certainly isn't room for you to ask for sympathy.
But Destiny, you say you don't want anybody killed. And yet you say, I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt to chastise people celebrating it. It's people celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. If you can't find it in you to chastise people who do that, aren't you just as despicable as the people you've just spent the last 2 minutes haranguing?
No, because they've led the way. This is the environment that they've created.
So you think behaving like the people you think are despicable is the correct course of action?
not about behaving like the people who are despicable would be leading that type of rhetoric. It would be denying every single bad thing. How many times as a liberal? How many times as a liberal have you been on a show? Not you in general, but like a liberal been on a show and you've been forced to disavow all of the BLM riots, disavow all of the violence, and blah blah blah. And then you talk to conservatives about it. January 6th,
violence.
that was
That's
a false
good.
flag.
Yeah.
January 6th. Oh, like conservatives disavow January 6th?
Wait. First off, there's an entire cultural machine that has lied.
I mean, look, this is the truth. The reality is conservatives, whether you like it or not, you've led to this point. You've created this environment. You still refuse to acknowledge January 6th as a real event that was not a false flag that Donald Trump tried to falsify, defraud, and steal an election. This did happen. You refuse to acknowledge any of this to this day. And you probably never will because this guy is literally your nominee. Why would you? Conservatives want liberals to condemn everything. BLM, condemn I don't know, people calling Trump Hitler. I'm willing, I don't know why Destiny will at the end of this video refuse to condemn the attempt on Uncle Trump. Again, I'm not about to even come close to saying that what happened to Trump is in any way acceptable at all. The problem is, as you will see in this video, neither Dave Smith or whatever his fucking name is in this chat, I don't know who she is, neither of the two will condemn January 6th by the end of this video. Neither of them. Conservatives, if you are not willing to cede any ground and acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump has been allowed to go way too far, Trump has been allowed to wild out, and because of you, he's been allowed to go this far. If you don't acknowledge that, there's going to be more Destinies who say, well, fuck it. Fuck it. Why acknowledge anything when you won't acknowledge anything? The reality is that we need both sides to acknowledge wrong. I'm ready every day to condemn the attempt on Trump's life. Every day of the week. How many of you watching this right now do not want to condemn January 6th? How many of you to this day still think January 6th was a false flag? Despite the fact that there have been a litany of people charged who have not been, well, I'm an FBI agent, I'm a CIA agent. There's video of them breaking into the Capitol, desecrating the Capitol, breaking into people's offices, chanting, hang Mike Pence. Why haven't all of them said, well, FBI, FBI? It was a real event, guys. I'm sorry. Charlie Kirk even tweeted about it. He tweeted about being proud to bus all these conservatives to Washington. You think Charlie Kirk's a Fed? Some of y'all might think that. Charlie Kirk was proud of what happened until January 6th unfolded the way it did. Then he deleted the tweets. Bro, you think if Charlie Kirk was coded under the protection of the FBI, he would have deleted those tweets? But he would have kept them up. If Charlie Kirk was really fed out like that, that's not a word, but we like to use it today. If Charlie Kirk was really a Fed for real, bro, he wouldn't have deleted those tweets. The reality is, bro, he didn't think January 6th was going to turn out like that. And he deleted the tweets. I can't even blame him. I would have probably deleted them niggas too. I would have deleted them. The reality is, guys, you guys will not ever admit when your side does anything wrong. Conservatives, you don't. The attempt to kidnap Whitmer, you guys call that a false flag. January 6th, false flag. Anything you guys do wrong is a conspiracy. Anything we do wrong, we must condemn. This is the reason why Destiny is wilding. Now, I think Destiny's in the wrong. But, you want to know, Destiny doing this is the only way y'all are going to listen. Because, see, me being like, man, I condemn the shooting against Trump. You don't feel it in your heart to condemn January 6th. At all. At all. His crazy ass behavior is the only way y'all are going to even think about January 6th. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And watch Dave Smith and this chick not condemn January 6th at all.
There was an entire
we just saw it in real time. That's it.
What?
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy for anything that happens as a result of their rhetoric. That's it. It's so easy. It's so simple.
Okay, but
I'm not exactly sure what he's talking about, but I would say this is the type of person that the internet has broke their brain, thus leading.
Whatever the fuck his name is, he knows exactly what Destiny's talking about. He specifically danced around acknowledging and condemning January 6th, and when Destiny exploded, he's like, well, I don't really know what he's talking about. You do know. You know. You could have just sat there and said, you know what, Destiny, and in an attempt to bridge the gap and make peace between Americans, I will condemn January 6th. He didn't do it. He wouldn't do it. I forget this guy's name, but I think he's from the Young Turks. I think he's a conservative now. What the fuck is this nigga's? It's not Dave Smith, bro. Whatever.
Them with very little empathy for their co-human. I mean, a good, decent father is now dead because of this. He's had his brains blown out because he was defending his wife and daughter. I would hope that you have a little empathy for that.
I can. Let me jump in there because we have a clip of what Destiny has said about that very thing. Let's listen to this.
Fuck it. Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy. Fuck Trump. Fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm. You don't, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%.
I mean, I got to say, I just found
Destiny. Oh my God.
That repulsive, Destiny.
I wish that there is no room. There is no room for the hand wringing, and I will not participate in this anymore.
Oh, it's not hand wringing.
The hand wringing. No,
it's not
it absolutely is.
No, it's just that you are positioning yourself.
So well.
No, but Destiny, let me explain to you.
Where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theory.
I'm not a conservative.
They can have any plot. They can do anything, and then liberals are supposed to sit here and be like,
Destiny,
oh my God, it's so tragic.
No, Destiny,
absolutely not.
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
Let me explain my position because I'm not a conservative. I'm not on either side in your race, right?
No, Piers Morgan definitely is on a side. He will show this at the end of the video where he refuses to ask either guest to condemn January 6th.
Here's what I think about what you did. You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing. You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost gleeful that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead, that he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was president of the United States until recently for 4 years and maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry, that makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband when they broke in.
I can answer that.
Mainstream media figures
I can answer that.
I don't care.
I can answer that.
With all due respect, I don't care what your answer is.
Let me answer that.
The reality is that conservatives have been turning the temperature up on the rhetoric. They have been making fun of these types of events for years, and now when something happens to them, now they're looking for sympathy from the liberal side. Absolutely not. It's insane. It's unhinged.
Yeah.
Destiny's argument would be so effective if he would just say, look, I condemn the shooting on Trump. I need them to condemn J6, though. The reality is that Megyn Kelly she just went live recently and said, Joe Biden turns up the temperature. I need everyone watching this, which the few of you that do, to know Joe Biden called the family of the man who was killed. Do you know that Trump has not called that family yet? So Joe Biden calls Trump himself to check in on Trump. Donald Trump accused Joe Biden of trying to assassinate him 3 months ago. I believe it was 2 to 3 months ago. Trump came out and lied and said Joe Biden authorized lethal force against me. We then found out from the FBI that both Trump and Biden had lethal force authorized against the both of them in the raids at their homes, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if Decrepit Joe and Deceptive Dawn decided to start shooting at the FBI when the FBI comes back to go get those documents, and Joe Biden and Trump are shooting at the FBI at their respective homes, stopping them from retrieving the documents, the FBI can shoot back. Coincidentally enough, Joe Biden was not home for that raid, and Trump was not home for his raid. Trump's Secret Service detail was informed of the raid before it even happened. You want to know why? Because the FBI just isn't interested in shooting at Uncle Trump. Period. You know what Trump does? He comes on the internet and lies to you and says the FBI was authorized to kill me by Joe Biden. Literally, this is what we're dealing with here. And conservatives are unwilling to acknowledge anything coming from their side. Ever. At all. Ever, 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 ever. Destiny has to realize, though, if you want anyone to listen to you, you cannot sit there and refuse to condemn the shooter, refuse to condemn those celebrating that Trump almost died in front of the world. Destiny has to realize that you are not making this country a better place. You are not acting in the way that you should with the platform you have. But y'all gotta realize and understand, Destiny is not lying when he says conservatives are unwilling to acknowledge anything that Trump has done wrong. And one of the main reasons why you all will never acknowledge what Trump has done wrong is because he's your nominee. At this stage in the game, why would you? You decided to overlook his not just shortcomings, but crimes and insurrection attempt, and have decided to place him as your nominee. There's no way in hell you will ever introspect and acknowledge the fact that Trump truly is a threat to democracy. Destiny is correct. You guys will not ever, ever, ever listen to reason. You won't. You won't. And Destiny is losing patience. The problem, though, that Destiny doesn't understand is like, gee, these are people's lives you're talking about. Man, Trump is a real person. If he goes down, that's a whole family of people mourning his death. Fuck the politics. That's a family, man. That's a grandfather, bro. Real talk. That man who died at the rally, but that was a father shielding his wife and his daughter. That's a family that lost their father. At the end of the day, we can't allow politics to erode our humanity. We can't. But the reality is, Destiny is right and wrong. The reality is, conservatives are unwilling to ever cede ground and acknowledge when they're wrong. But at the same time, Destiny is wilding out in the worst way and just losing his mind.
Here's the problem. Conduct yourself in such a manner and expect people to feel sorry when things happen.
Why should anybody on the right listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave? And by the way, for the record, the mockery of Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked by an intruder with a hammer was also despicable, right? I can see despicable behavior on all sides, and I'm happy to call it out when I see it. You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting, inhumane behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, you have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Fuck him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally of a guy he wants to vote for.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States. I'm not here to tone police over their empathy.
18 million people voted for Donald Trump last time round.
Piers, you can't be. If 80 million people told you the Earth was flat, if 80 million people said segregation is a good idea, I guess you're just in favor of it. If 80 million people say all white people are racist, you're cool with that. If 80 million people say jump off a cliff, you about to do it. 80 million people voted for Donald Trump, and then he embarrassed all of them by trying to insurrect the government. Like, that man embarrassed and betrayed all of his voters on January 6th, my G. Period. Just because 80 million people voted for the man does not mean that Donald Trump is above criticism. And this is part of the reason why Destiny's panicking. Destiny is freaking out the way he is because he realizes that in the wake of that disgusting shooter trying to kill Uncle Trump, Trump supporters will never listen to reason. They'll never listen to anything anybody says because Trump almost died. I've had people tell me, bro, it was a setup. Y'all gotta understand, if Trump rolled his ankle, if someone said, Donald, you're ugly, and he turned to the right, anything could have happened. Trump would have been gone. Bruh, like, we cannot lose sight of the severity of what happened to Trump. Just because Unc didn't die does not mean someone didn't try to kill Uncle Trump. But, again, Destiny is right. Just because 80 million people support Trump does not mean Trump is not a literal insurrectionist. Period.
Great. 80 million people voted for a guy that tried to insurrect the government, and it looks like they might try to do it again. I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to say. These are the facts on the ground. The idea that
you don't like attacks on democracy. So presumably you would unreservedly condemn the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. because that's one of the most egregious attacks on American democracy in modern times. Presumably,
I don't think that
you will
anybody
take
should
this
be
opportunity,
trying to-
given you
Yeah, I
are
don't
so
think anybody-
determined to protect the integrity of democracy, you would find it absolutely outrageous that someone has tried to assassinate a president, right?
If the other conservatives on this show want to say that it was absolutely outrageous
I'm
that Donald
asking
Trump
you.
attempted to coup the government,
I'm asking
then,
you.
then maybe I would. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness or show sympathy to conservatives.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't. I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why the hell?
This is where Destiny loses. This is where Destiny completely loses. Destiny gives these conservatives an easy layup, and y'all will see in this video that they will refuse to condemn January 6th. They have no honor and integrity. They don't even speak up and say, you know what, Piers? Destiny may not be willing to condemn a literal attempt on Uncle Trump's life, brother. They're trying to take out Trump. They didn't have the honor to say, Destiny may be wilding out here, but I will stand here as an adult and condemn Trump's actions on January 6th and the actions of all the people at the Capitol. They can't even do it. Further proving Destiny's point. It's just one big chaos-like thing where Destiny won't admit the fact that this obvious, disgusting act is an attempt on democracy. The conservatives, since January 6th for 3.5 years, have been unwilling to condemn that. They've now taken the man behind it and have just elevated him up to the nomination for the president. But strategically, we've already covered the moral issue of Destiny's behavior here, but strategically, Big Destiny gives, I forget this guy, what the fuck is this nigga's name? I've seen him for years. I know this man's, bro. This is the man where he was on the Young Turks. Whatever. I don't know who this lady is, but, you know, salute to her for showing up. Destiny basically hands them the victory by basically saying, I won't condemn what happened to Trump. So now they don't have to condemn J6. Destiny could have easily embarrassed Piers Morgan, don't know his name, and this lady here. He could have easily whooped them all at the same time by saying, I fully condemn the attempt on Uncle Trump's life. He didn't have to say it like that. You know, I fuck with Trump. I'm not voting for the man, but he's fucking hilarious. And he's a tough guy. I fuck with the guy, but president, no. He could have easily sat there and said, I condemn the attempt on Trump's life. And they would have looked like fucking idiots. Because that's and traitors, which is what they are for refusing to condemn J6. Destiny could have easily had the easiest layup ever. And he just gives it up. Destiny, bro, come on, G.
Frankly, Destiny,
absolutely not.
Why
Absolutely
the hell
not.
should we listen to a
Absolutely
word you have to say
Wait, hold
about...
on. Why do you think conservatives haven't been listening to a word that liberals have said about anything for 8 years?
Right,
What do you
but
think is
why
going to
should
change?
they?
You think
But
that if
here's my
liberals
point,
come out now
Destiny.
and they go, oh my God, this was so horrible,
But
you
here's
think
my
they're going to
point.
go, wow, that is true. Maybe
Hey, wait a
that
second.
should also like
Charlie, I'm
turn
going
the
to bring...
rhetoric down a
Charlie,
little
I mean, Destiny's right. Conservatives, you haven't been listening. You cannot, as disgusting as what happened to Trump is, y'all have not been listening for the last 8 years at all. You have not been listening at all. You don't listen. Ever. No matter what liberals say, Trump tried to steal the election. That was a false flag. They tried to kidnap Whitmer. False flag. You don't listen to anything. No matter how much evidence is presented, the fact that Tucker was exposed for lying to you guys about the election being stolen, you don't listen. You don't listen. The reality is that liberals have to take accountability for the fact that, yes, we did say Trump was Hitler. Was going to be like Hitler or whatever. We did do that. And we have to take accountability for that. We compared Trump to Hitler. We said this. We said that. We fucking attacked every little thing Trump did. If Trump even breathed wrong. Oh, Trump! But conservatives, you have yet to condemn January 6th. Y'all don't do it. Y'all have yet to accept the fact that it was it was wrong. And then there's fucking Megyn Kelly going live today saying that Biden is turning up the temperature, even though he called the family of the man who died. Conservatives, please speak some sense into these media representatives of your movement. They're making you look crazy. I'm willing to call out Destiny. You're watching me call out Destiny over and over and over again. I need you guys to call out these individuals. The name, bro, I would look up the names, but I don't want to I don't want to waste time trying to figure out who these people are. I need y'all to condemn this. I will condemn Destiny's behavior here every single time. Because even if I didn't think Trump was funny, cool, tough, personable, even if I didn't think that Trump had some likable qualities, even if I despised the man on a personal level, I'd still condemn it. Because it's wrong. It's wrong to try to kill the the actual nominee, to try to kill a man, period, and to try to kill this man in front of the entire world and leave his family in just permanent, like, bruh, come on, bruh. But Destiny loses here by being unwilling to condemn the shooting and basically handing these two conservatives who will not condemn J6 at the end of this video ever an easy victory. But I will say this, Destiny is right. You guys, you haven't been listening at all. And now that Destiny's wilding, now you guys want to, oh my God, Destiny's insane. He is. Destiny's insane. You guys are now crying, but you weren't listening to him before. I've watched Destiny have civilized conversations with conservatives over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Y'all don't listen. You never do. You just don't. But Destiny has basically allowed the frenzy behind the Trump shooting to blind him to reality. Regardless of how Trump supporters are acting in the wake of this event, you cannot sit there and just not condemn the people saying, oh my God, I can't believe he missed. You had one job. How could you miss Trump? He's so fat. Like, you got to condemn that because it's wrong.
You in at the end of this, I promise you, and you'll get a good chance to respond. But here's my problem, Destiny, with your whole position on this, right? Is that you don't actually have anything inside you that you want the other side to have. You don't have any of the empathy. You don't have any sympathy. You don't care that someone tried to assassinate Donald Trump. You don't care that a young fireman with a family was killed in the process. You don't actually. You are not the person you want these other people to be. And all you do is play whataboutery with every question I give you.
I mean, Piers Morgan needs to understand this isn't whataboutery. Joe Biden is not an insurrectionist, period. Like, Donald Trump is on a different level of danger to American democracy than Joe Biden. It's not a debate. I've condemned the attempts against Trump. I will continue to condemn the attempt on Trump's life every time. But I will not act like Destiny is wrong here. It is true that Republicans are insanely worse at violent rhetoric than liberals. I'm sorry. Yeah, they said Trump was literally Hitler. You guys took an insurrectionist, Donald John Trump, and have pushed him up to the presidency. Am I supposed to equate that to Joe Biden? Do you expect me to? I'm not. Because it's just not, it's just not the same. The reality is that Piers Morgan is incapable of realizing that two things can be true at the same time. Destiny is acting insane, and Republicans are voting for an insurrectionist. These two things are true at the same time. Piers Morgan is calling it whataboutism. The problem is that Destiny, through being unwilling to just condemn evil, has now allowed Piers Morgan and these two other conservatives to squirm out of accountability and pretend that Biden and Trump are equally crazy when they're not.
I'm just startled. It's not what about it? We're talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about the temperature of this country. But here's a question for the two panelists. What percentage of this event happening was due to Donald Trump's rhetoric? What do they think the answer to that question is?
What percentage could it be that the other side, as we've just heard from Dave Rubin, has spent
Dave Rubin. Okay, there we go. Dave Rubin just said very little of Trump's rhetoric has been influential on what happened. Guys, if you think that Trump being called Hitler is why he got shot at, I don't know what to tell you. I literally just don't know what to tell you. Part of my problem with a lot of conservatives is you guys don't think outside of your own bubble. You don't care about gay people. You don't care about women. You don't care about LGBTQ people in general. You do not care about minorities, most of you. And you literally just don't think about anybody outside of your own group. Liberals are also guilty of this when they constantly exclude straight white males and then wonder why straight white males like run to the Republican side. But we're going to get to that another time. We will, I promise you. You guys don't care about anyone else, but I'm going to inform you. Donald Trump Supreme Court justices overturned Roe v. Wade. There are many people in different states advocating for total abortion bans. There are many states where women cannot even women can only look for an abortion within like the first like 4 weeks of being pregnant, and in a lot of those times they don't even know they're pregnant. So basically, these states have made it to where like you can get one if you can figure out if you're pregnant in time. Basically, you can't get one. So basically, Donald Trump is Project 2025, by the way, has made it abundantly clear they want abortion to be illegal in general, like period. Donald Trump is openly associating with these people. He denies knowing who they are, but he's constantly associating with people from the Heritage Foundation. He's spoken at their meetings. He knows who they are. He has people from Project 2025 in his upcoming administration right now. The reality is, Donald Trump, his presidency, attempted to steal an election, brought about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump caused insane amounts of division, talked about when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Donald Trump has recruited an entire base of radical Christian nationalists to his movement, to his administration, who are planning to take away women's rights to abortions, gay people's right to marriage, people's rights to keeping religion out of schools. They want to destroy the Department of Education. They want to gut the entire executive branch and replace it with Trump loyalists. Your president is threatening the stability of the entire nation. If you think that people calling Trump Hitler is the reason why the chaos is happening, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. And the reason why you're incapable of understanding this is because you don't care about gay people's rights. You don't care about women's rights. You don't care about people who aren't Christian. You don't care. So when these rights are infringed upon, it doesn't occur to you that some people in these groups are crazy enough to fight back against you. It doesn't occur to you. Ever. It doesn't even register to you. But I'm telling you, this stuff matters. If you're plotting and planning to take away people's rights, chaos can ensue. Am I supporting it? No. Am I saying it's okay? No. But I'm not going to let Dave Rubin lie to you and say, no, none of Trump's rhetoric has caused anything. Of course it has. Trump caused an insurrection. Trump said we got to fight like hell or they're going to take your country from you. And then a violent mob outside the Capitol broke in and tried to obstruct the process of an election. And Trump sat there for 3 hours and did nothing while members of his family, members of his cabinet, everyone came out and please called him off. He wouldn't do it until someone was shot. Then all of a sudden he calls it off. Donald Trump is an insurrectionist. If you think there aren't people out there who are terrified of Trump because of what he actually did, that we know he did, his own daughter testified that he ignored people's pleas to call out the rally. If you think these things don't matter, you're in denial. You're in denial, and you are what's making this country a worse place. Do not ask liberals, myself or otherwise, Destiny or anyone else, to condemn anything if you are not willing to acknowledge the fact that Donald Trump and his movement is divisive and will lead to violence. Trying to strip people's rights, trying to steal elections. This is not normal stuff. This is not child's play. This is not a game. It's not a game. If you think that Trump is Hitler stuff is the reason why this is happening, I don't know what to tell you. I know Dave Rubin's job is to lie to you, but I'm not going to lie to you. I care about all of us. Black, white, gay, straight, Christian, atheist. I care about all Americans. I'm not here to just represent one side, but I'm telling y'all, if you think Trump's rhetoric is not part of why chaos is ensuing right now, you're wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. I could pretend, I could coddle you, I could lie to you, but you're wrong. You're just wrong. And if y'all can't acknowledge that, Destiny's never going to acknowledge anything. I'm willing to meet you guys in the middle, but if you're not willing to meet me in the middle, we can't do anything. We can't make anything happen. But Dave Rubin is wrong. Trump's rhetoric is definitely impactful on why we're here today.
He is calling Donald Trump the new Adolf Hitler. Joe Biden did last night, just as Joe Biden did with Lester Holt on NBC last night. Every time he was asked, have you done any soul searching about your own rhetoric, your own ill-advised use of language. He deflected it back to attacks on Trump. And you're doing exactly the same thing with Republicans.
And I will do the exact same thing.
You say Republicans
you want Biden
you say
to
that they are.
The reality is that Joe Biden and Trump are not on the same level of insanity. They're not, and they never have been. Piers Morgan is trying to draw parallels. Joe Biden said he was going to put Trump in the bullseye. But Joe Biden said, my job is to defeat Donald Trump. I'm done talking about the debate. Now it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. That's what Joe Biden said. That's literally it. If that's the best you can pull up in terms of Joe Biden being a rabble rouser and a conflict causer, you're literally just insane. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. You're looking for things that aren't there. I'm not going to sit there and say liberals are perfect or Democrats are perfect. But if you want me to believe that Joe Biden is as insane as Donald Trump, no.
Bullseye comment when Donald Trump was saying Second Amendment people could maybe do something about Hillary Clinton. Like, no, it's absolutely deranged. The double standard that's being asked here is insane. And you heard both of them say it earlier. How much did Donald Trump's rhetoric contribute to the current environment? Oh, not much at all. Like, no, yeah, I'm not going to say anything to these people. Of course not.
You see, Destiny,
seem oddly unversed in any of the current events that have happened over the last couple of years. First off, politics is downstream from culture, right? And what has happened to our culture in the last 8 years? What has happened to our culture is that the mainstream media has lied about everything, always to the detriment of right-leaning people, whether it is the Russia hoax or COVID or Brett Kavanaugh's a serial rapist or the Covington kids are racist or Jesse Smollett was hoaxed, was lynched, or whether it was very fine people on both sides. Every single lie always goes against right-leaning people. So they are slightly annoyed and distrustful of people like you and other people in mainstream media who
I will be happy to acknowledge the left has lied before. We lied about Kyle Rittenhouse. There was clear evidence that Rittenhouse was not guilty on Google, on YouTube, and everyone continued to persist in the lie that Rittenhouse was a murderer. He killed 4 or 5 black people. He's the new Ku Klux Klan. I will admit the liberal media lied. I don't mind admitting that. It happens all the time. I don't mind admitting that at all. The problem is these lies are nothing. And The Rock means nothing in comparison to lying about an election being stolen, the president of the United States saying you got to fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. These lies are not the same at all. And the crazy part is Republicans have clinged or whatever the word is. I got to brush up on my dictionary. I'm going to drop out. Republicans have tightly clung. I'm going to just go with that and see what happens. They have just held on tight to the narrative that J6 was a hoax, a false flag, a conspiracy created by the Democrats or Antifa. They won't take any accountability at all. So I'll be the one to say, hey, look, shit, we lied about Rittenhouse. Liberals did that. But what y'all lied about? Oh my God. And the fact that y'all took the person who orchestrated the lie and have elevated him up to the nomination for president in the Republican Party, Lord have mercy.
Lie about literally everything. So perhaps
literally everything, like biolabs and Nazis in Ukraine, or like mRNA vaccines that are causing 20% excess deaths. There it is. Yeah, or the fact that COVID lockdowns were going to go on forever and it was just an authoritarian abuse of power. Or yeah, of course. Like, come on, dude.
There were Nazis in Ukraine. It's how you say it. So like when people say, oh, there's Nazis in Ukraine, they're trying to make it seem like the Ukrainian government is a Nazi government, which it is not. There was a battalion of Nazis called Azov Battalion that was reformed completely. The reason why Destiny laughs off this assertion is because Vladimir Putin, one of his reasons for invading Ukraine was to denazify Ukraine. The problem was Vladimir Putin hired the Wagner Group, which was run by neo-Nazis. The name of the Wagner Group was named in honor of one of Hitler's favorite musical composers. One of the founders of Wagner Group, who was killed, he was blown up alongside Prigozhin, Dmitry Utkin, had Waffen-SS tattoos on his collarbone. So as Vladimir Putin is hiring neo-Nazis to invade Ukraine, he's saying, I gotta kill all these people in Ukraine and take their sovereignty from them and destroy their lives because I need to denazify them. And reminding you, a battalion is at most 2,000 troops. So Putin thought it was his right to invade a nation and ruin the lives of hundreds of thousands and millions to denazify a battalion while he has hired neo-Nazis to do his dirty work. That's why the Nazi claim about Ukraine is laughable, because the implications of it are false.
Conservatives are masters of misinformation, and it's happening right here.
All right, let me bring in Charlie. He's been waiting very patiently. Charlie, thank you for being so patient. Things have obviously got quite heated quite quickly. Let me give you your chance now to have your say after what you've been hearing from Destiny.
Yeah, well, first of all, Destiny represents to me a certain subsect of the left, I won't call it everybody, who likes to bully others into saying exactly what they want to hear. And if they don't say it, then you all of a sudden are the problem. And they handle it exactly like he's been handling it on the show. It's like a child throwing a temper tantrum. You can't get a word in edgewise. They just kick and scream and yell until you ultimately...
So now she just joins into the stupidity. She starts off by saying, Destiny's one of those people on the left where if you don't say what they want you to say, you're the part of the problem. Yes, ma'am. Yes. If you won't acknowledge the fact that January 6th was an attempt on American democracy, you are part of the problem. See, the reason why I have some level of patience for Destiny is I know that he's just wilding out here. He's freaking out. He's panicking over this whole fallout with the Trump assassination attempt. I know he's not really like this. The problem is conservatives have been denying the significance or even the reality of January 6th for years. Years. And she starts off by saying, if I don't say what he wants me to say, I'm part of the problem. Like, ma'am, yes. What you should do is do what you're telling Destiny to do, which is be the bigger person. Make Destiny look stupid. Say, Destiny, you know what? We condemn the attempt on Trump's life and we condemn January 6th. Y'all would have made Destiny look like the biggest poop head ever. But instead, y'all all look crazy. And by the end of the video, all of you will look like insane people to me. Destiny is not the only one who will look like a piece of shit by the end of this video. I can promise you that.
Have had enough. Just say what you want to say and back down. And that's exactly what we see a lot of times from people on the left. And it infuriates me because just like we saw on Saturday with the near assassination of Donald Trump, which that is exactly what it was. It was an assassination attempt, yet we have, Dave, like you mentioned, all of the mainstream media putting out egregious headlines such as from CNN, Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president and crowd, which completely mistells what actually happened.
Accurate. Here it is. This is the conservative. This is the game right now.
It is not accurate.
Live right now. You know, Fox News ran that same type of headline, right?
First of all, we are allowed in this country to ask questions. There was a lot of things that were very off on Saturday from the way that the Secret Service handled.
I mean, the reality is CNN did persist and basically they just would not admit that Trump got shot at. I don't know why. Like, I know it sucks, but it happened. It did happen. CNN was like, Trump rolled his ankle. Trump fell. Like, you know, everyone at first was like, Trump fell, Trump da-da-da-da-da. But over time, we all acknowledged that Trump had been shot. CNN did persist in just not acknowledging the fact that Trump had been shot for like hours. Which, I can fully call that out. I'm a grown-ass man. I can call out my side when they fuck up.
I love this.
But Destiny is right. At the beginning, everyone was not sure what happened with Trump. Everybody was like, what happened? What did he do? So,
God bless, I guess, yeah.
You can... See, there you go. He immediately resorts
to
here we go.
Yes. Here we go.
That is exactly the childish demeanor that I'm speaking about. On Saturday,
Don't talk over each other. Let me just ask you this, Destiny. You were asked on that clip we played earlier if you'd have the same attitude if it was your parents who'd been killed at a Trump rally. And you replied, it's less end-of-life costs for me. Would I lose sleep over it? No. Do you understand how grotesque that sounds?
It sounds grotesque, but the environment that we're in right now is grotesque.
But why do you want to sound grotesque? I don't understand.
You cannot engage in behavior that leads us to this point, that brings us to the precipice, and then say, wait a second, are you taking this a little bit too far?
So just to be clear, hang on, Dave.
We are exactly here
just to be clear,
because of what conservatives have said.
Just to be clear, Destiny,
if
it was close members of your family or close friends who had gone to that Donald Trump rally and who'd lost their lives, one did, and two are critically wounded, if they had died there, you would lose no sleep over that. Is that your position?
Of course, I would be sad. It would be tragic, of course. And the closer they are to you, the more sad it would be. The same way that if you had a child that tried to rob a store and the child got killed by the police, that would also be tragic and sad.
So you wouldn't think
but
you wouldn't think fuck them because they're your family. Then you'd have a different rule for your own loved ones.
Would I feel more upset if a person very close to me died rather than a person farther away died? Yeah, I think the answer there is yes.
Yeah, but you weren't just
anything.
Just to be clear, you weren't just not upset by the death of that firefighter who'd given great service as a firefighter to his country. You were gleeful and you said, fuck him. Fuck him.
I'm not. It's
Would
not
you
about
say
being gleeful.
fuck them if it was your family and friends?
Because he was a Trump supporter.
I would say that if they go to a rally like this and they support an insurrectionist president and something happens to them, I would feel sad on a personal level because they're my parents. But again, I learned from them more than anyone else. I grew up in Nebraska. You learn that if you mess around and if you do dumb stuff, that there are going to be consequences.
And would you think? Would you be happy to say, you know what, fuck them, about your own parents?
Okay, the reality is that Destiny is just it's like, yes, it's bad that people are supporting Trump because he's an insurrectionist. No, we cannot sit there and say if they die, whatever, because they're supporting an insurrectionist. We can't do that. That's just immoral. It's wrong. However, I want you guys to notice that neither Piers Morgan, Dave Smith, or this woman here, none of them sit there and say, Donald Trump's not an insurrectionist. They don't deny it. They don't say Donald Trump's not an insurrectionist. They maintain, Destiny, what you said is horrible, which it is. They don't say Trump's not an insurrectionist. They dance around it because they know that if they actually have a discussion about that, they would have to admit, yeah, we are threatening the stability of this nation's democracy by trying to support a fucking insurrectionist president. So they dance around that, and Destiny, unfortunately, did not hold the conversation hostage. Do what Candace Owens did. Hold the conversation hostage. Say, if y'all don't condemn January 6th or call it an insurrection, I'm not saying anything, or I'm just going to lead the call. We'll just keep saying, will you condemn January 6th? That's all you got to do here. But, Destiny, it wasn't his day.
Rhetoric is far more dangerous than I've ever heard anything that Donald Trump said. What he's saying right there. Yeah. He is saying you should have no empathy or sympathy for your fellow human. We can all disagree. We can disagree about politics, of course.
This is not a simple disagreement on politics, but y'all are literally voting for an insurrectionist. Nigga. Like, bruh, this is not a simple disagreement. The only reason why I'm giving Destiny a slight bit of grace is because Republicans have lost their fucking minds. They're voting for an insurrectionist. Like, bro, this is not simple disagreements anymore. A lot of y'all still think we're in 2016. Trump is on a different level of threat to democracy. It's not even close.
Disagree about how the media frames things and everything else. But he's basically saying show up to a rally and get killed. And that is absolutely psychotic. I'm sorry. And the other part of this that's strange when people are calling for unity right now is if this had happened to Joe Biden, if Joe Biden had been shot at and had part of his ear blown off, the very people calling for unity right now would be calling for the rest of us to be put in jail. So there's a strange asymmetry there as well.
And I would ask this.
The strange asymmetry was Biden trying to make a phone call to the wife of the killed firefighter and her rejecting the call and Donald Trump not even reaching out. Okay, that's the asymmetry. When you talk about it's just politics, this is the cancer.
I mean, that is true. It is true. Joe Biden immediately called that family and reached out. End of the day, Joe Biden 100% offered his condolences and sympathies. There's no equivalence between Trump and Joe Biden at all.
Brain rot that conservatives have fooled everybody into thinking. It's not just politics to think that vaccines will kill you. Okay?
The president is calling to offer his condolences and to figure something out with you. I understand why she didn't answer, but she should have answered 100%. Joe Biden is not that crazy of a president to where her not like. If Joe Biden acted like Trump, I could understand her not answering the call 100% in every possible way. We're getting to a point where there's just no civility in politics.
3 dead family members from COVID. My mom won't get a vaccine. Okay, after both of them were in the military. These guys went up and down.
I'm not vaccinated, thank God. Nobody in
Don't worry,
this
we can all
studio is
tell.
vaccinated,
We can all
thank
tell.
God.
My parents went up and down a line when they did basic training for the Air Force. They got 20, 30 vaccines each. My dad has a vaccine injury in his shoulder, and the idea of not getting vaccinated was unconscionable to them until the conservatives spread these messages that are just politics.
Let me ask you this, Destiny. Let me ask you this,
When
Destiny.
science has shown that the vaccine actually was one of the worst things you could have done for yourself. Thank God I didn't get vaccinated. I thank God every single day I didn't get vaccinated.
Let's not get. I don't want to get. Look, I don't want to read. I don't want to get back into COVID. I don't want to get back into COVID, right?
I don't want to get back into COVID.
Hang on, Charlie.
Asymmetry of it all.
Hang on, Charlie. I don't want to get down into COVID again. I want to stick to this story, and I want to ask you, Destiny, about Elon Musk, who is responded to one ex-user who was calling for him to demonetize you on, and he said, "You're right. This is not appropriate content for advertisers because of the offensive tweets you were aiming at Trump supporters." What is your response to Elon Musk?
The same response as it always has been. Elon Musk is a thinly veiled, I would say, like anti-woke, anti-SJW, basically right-wing supported guy. And if you say things that they don't like, of course they'll demonetize you, they'll cancel you. Conservatives are some of the least principled people in the universe when it comes to freedom of speech. As soon as they have any power to demonetize or spam report somebody's, sponsors or anything like that, of course conservatives will jump onto it. My account also was demonetized, I think in like 12 hours. Thank you very much, Elon Musk. Although I do notice that my docs has been floating around Twitter for 2 days now, and tons of accounts that I've been reporting that haven't been banned yet, but I'm glad we've got our priorities straight there.
Again, here's what I think we're all struck by. Your position seems to be that anyone from Donald Trump to his supporters who represents their thinking, their ideology, their political views, that if they are killed by an assassin at a rally, then they deserve what's coming to them. And in your words, fuck them. I mean, do you not understand that to most decent Americans and to decent people around the world, that is incredibly offensive and makes you look like a two-faced hypocrite, somebody who wants the other side to behave to a certain level of decency, but is himself incapable of displaying it?
The conservatives don't have it in them to have that level of decency.
So why don't you rise to a higher bar? Why don't you yourself show them the promised land, Destiny? Show them the way they should be behaving.
Have been doing it for 8 years. There's nothing to be gained there. So instead, we'll just have a laugh instead. When you're asking for this type of decency, you're saying like they did for
Piers Morgan is so right here, but he's been so biased in this discussion that he has no. It's like a cycle. Destiny won't acknowledge the obvious, so they won't acknowledge the obvious. It's just a cycle of fuckery. It's just Piers Morgan's right, but the two other panelists won't acknowledge anything their side has done wrong. Like ever. And the problem is Destiny has been good faith for years, and it hasn't worked. And in light of Trump being shot at, MAGA Republicans will never listen to anything now. So now Destiny's basically thinking, well, I'm done trying to be reasonable now, which I don't support. I do not support Destiny's rhetoric here. But it's a cycle of chaos. It is a cycle. And I think Destiny did make a mistake by not condemning the attack on Trump. The simple way to win this discussion would have been, hey, I fully condemn the attempt on Trump's life. However, my problem with these people is that they will not condemn anything their side has done. So I would like to ask them if, in light of me condemning the attempt on Trump, that they would condemn January 6th. And Destiny probably would have defeated them. But we are here. Here we are.
His husband, like they did for BLM people, like they did for the endless. He didn't die, but he got the crap beat out of him with a hammer, and they made jokes about his gay lover.
The jokes were disgusting. Why can't you say that the same
jokes that Trump himself made, by the way,
about the people making mockery of Trump? Why do you join the mob?
It's not just the jokes. It's the underlying substantive analysis as well. It's the lack of responsibility for January 6th. It's the lack of responsibility for the Gretchen plot. It's the lack of accountability for all the comments made about BLM protesters, George Floyd, for all of these.
But by your yardstick, what the Republicans should do in response is simply say, "Fuck all of them. Fuck them all. Who cares?"
Piers, that's what you're not understanding. Piers, listen to me. This is what you're not understanding. You keep bringing this up to me, like, well, Destiny, if you act like this, aren't conservatives just going to do? And then you say a thing, but they've done this for 8 years.
Right. So the other side is horrendous. Therefore, I'm going to be even more horrendous. It's so
That's the
unprincipled.
horrendous part about the conservatives isn't just the rhetoric. It's the underlying factual denial of reality. That's the biggest. That's the huge issue. That's the big bad
Let me
part.
bring Charlie. Let me bring Charlie back to
top,
respond to that. Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the opposite. I think that, Destiny, you are completely fueled solely off of emotion, whereas I think that, I'll say conservatives, even though I think that it spans past conservatives, when they look at the facts of the summer of BLM, the BLM movement as a whole, January 6th, this assassination attempt, when you look at the facts, things unfold before your eyes and they reveal themselves to be actually what they are. There's a lot of evidence that has come forth since all of these events in the past have occurred. And they have shown that exactly what conservatives were saying were absolutely correct. Just like the assassination attempt on Saturday, we look at what went wrong. We look at not only was this one rooftop unguarded, but how did the gunman know that the rooftop was unguarded? Why was it that local law enforcement alerted the Secret Service moments before shots were fired?
There it is. There is actually a very good question.
Do you think January 6th? Do you think J6 was a false flag?
I think January 6th, there's a lot of discussions to be had. I think
Oh
there's a
my
lot of factors.
God.
Yeah, fuck
They're
these
definitely.
guys. Yeah, I will never give sympathy to this side. These guys are destroying the country, dude. This is unhinged.
There were agents.
There were a single thing that
agents present. We know for a fact.
Destiny, here's your problem
There
with
were
me.
agents present on January 6th. We saw the tourists being ushered into the Capitol building. They're being treated like.
Okay, she's a traitor to the United States of America. She is. I don't know what your name is, man, but you are a traitor to the United States. It is on video of January 6th protesters breaking into the Capitol. Number one. Number two, there have been feds in every, you think thousands of people can literally surround the Capitol and federal agents won't be present? Are you retarded? Of course there are. All throughout American history, feds have been implanted into every group ever. There have been feds in the Ku Klux Klan. There have been feds in the Black Panther Party. There have been feds in the Bloods, the Crips. It's literally, this is not new. You think the feds didn't know about the protests outside the Capitol? They knew. And they showed up. They showed up dressed like Trump supporters, I would imagine. Does that all of a sudden mean that all the people who broke in were FBI agents? If that were the case, why is it that so many people who broke into the Capitol have been charged and none of them said, whoa, FBI, badge, CIA? Because as it turns out, these people were criminals and the vast majority of them were not feds. In fact, Charlie Kirk literally tweeted about busing hundreds of patriots to the Capitol to save our country. Then, when January 6th turned to be, total disaster, as Trump likes to say, Charlie Kirk deleted the tweets. Now, if Charlie Kirk was a Fed and a part of a federal plan to steal the election, surely, Charlie Kirk would not have deleted the tweets if he had some kind of federal protection. The reality is that no, January 6th was not an inside job. No, people were not welcomed into the Capitol. No. Point blank period. This is not true. They broke in. They 100% broke in. And the fact that she is willing to parrot conspiracy theories about January 6th is just insane. This was her opportunity to sit there and say, Destiny, you're a piece of shit. If you want to acknowledge Trump's assassination attempt as being bad, I'll acknowledge January 6th as a disgusting attempt on American democracy. She can't even do it. All four of the people on this panel are completely just disgustingly compromised.
And in fact, several months ago, Vivek Ramaswamy said it's only fair that we're able to have a decent conversation about all of this.
Okay, let me say what
we're not able to have a conversation about any of this because of people like you.
Let me just say what I think about January 6th, because I wrote it at the time and I believe it today. I thought it was a shameful attack on the heart of American democracy. It was an attempt to thwart democracy taking place. It should never have happened.
Watch this. Neither of these two will take advantage of Destiny's F-up and say, man, that Destiny guy, he won't acknowledge what happened to Trump being bad, but guess what? We condemn January 6th. They won't do it. Watch.
Everyone involved in any violent act that day was utterly shameful. Donald Trump's rhetoric that day was appalling. All those things are completely true, Destiny. I can happily subscribe to that.
Neither of your other guests.
But here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Neither
of these guests agree with that.
But if I'm a Republican,
Piers, do you understand? Piers,
but
do
if
you
I'm a
acknowledge that neither
Republican,
of them
yeah, but
agree with
here's
what
the
you
thing,
just said?
Destiny. If I'm a Republican listening to you,
I can't take Piers Morgan seriously after this scene. I can't. It's like, Piers, if you can't press these two on January 6th the way you press Destiny, I can't take you seriously. All four of the people on this panel are a part of the problem.
I'm thinking, hang on. This guy thinks we're all disgusting. We're reprehensible. We have no empathy. We have no this, no that.
Absolutely,
and yet he himself is proud of being even.
They all, like, Republicans already think that Democrats think they're deplorable and reprehensible. Destiny is right. Nothing has changed at all. I'm not going to baby conservatives and lie to y'all. You have been unconvincible for years. Even with the evidence in front of you. And then when Destiny makes a fool of himself and refuses to acknowledge the fact that the attempt on Trump's life is disgusting, the two conservative panelists just sit there and we're going to wait for Trump to stop condemning January 6th so we can attack Destiny again. Neither of them acknowledge Piers' point. And when Destiny says neither of your panelists agree, they don't say, whoa, Destiny, don't speak for us. Don't speak for us. We do agree with Piers. They don't. They sit there silent because they don't agree that January 6th was a bad thing.
More disgusting.
Not absolutely. And then I would say, wow, well, nothing has changed from since before COVID, before the vaccines, before J6, when they thought the election was stolen, when they thought that we were forced into lockdowns for no reason, when they thought that George Soros and the World Economic Forum and the IMF banks and everybody were taking over the country and the Federal Reserve was devaluing our currency. Like, it's all the same. Nothing has changed.
Let me ask you this.
I'm curious. Wait, can you ask
one
these two
last
guys?
question,
Do they agree
Destiny.
with any part? Do they
One
agree
last
with
question
any
for
part of
you.
your characterization of J6?
Destiny, one last question for you.
But
Are you pleased that Donald Trump got shot?
Yeah, I mean, I can't take Piers Morgan seriously. Destiny's about to F up to the utmost degree in about the next few seconds. But Piers Morgan refusing to ask these two to condemn January 6th is he just basically proved Destiny's point to Destiny's face. Destiny repeatedly told you, I will not condemn this unless these two are willing to build a bridge and condemn January 6th. Piers Morgan, despite asking Destiny to rise above, has an opportunity to force not only Destiny, but also these two to make peace and acknowledge one another's grievances. Piers Morgan specifically avoids doing that and asks Destiny, do you condemn or are you happy about what happened to Trump? Piers Morgan, you are aiding and abetting traitors to the United States of America. That woman right there is a traitor to this country. Dave Rubin, I'm assuming, is also a traitor. All four of you on this panel have lost your minds.
Am I pleased? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
What is your emotion to the shooting?
My emotion is emotionally what? In terms of his personal health, is absolute indifference.
No. Do you condemn the shooter shooting Donald Trump?
No. Not here, not on this program, not in front of these people. Absolutely
You do not condemn a deranged...
I don't know why they're so shocked. Like, y'all literally just sat there and refused to condemn an insurrection and an attempt to steal the United States election from the people of this country. All the two of you are traitors to the United States. Why are you shocked that Destiny is now, like... I'm not shocked. Destiny's 100% wrong here. Donald Trump is a man. He's a father. He's a grandfather. There's no place in this country where assassinating Uncle Trump is appropriate. But for them to, we can't believe Destiny would say that! Y'all literally just sat there and refused to condemn an insurrection attempt. Bro, these are all just four people refusing to give one another any ground at all. Surprised that the bar just keeps dropping. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, Destiny's in the wrong. Dave Rubin's a traitor to the United States. This woman's a traitor to the United States. And Piers Morgan is aiding traitors in poisoning the minds of other Americans. Period.
These people
shooting
you are
Donald
truly
Trump.
just a child. This is not
Actually,
this is not a competition
you know
here.
what,
We're
Charlie?
just trying to be decent human
You know what,
beings.
Charlie? It's not actually the behavior of a child. It's the behavior of somebody who's completely lost his moral compass and any
You're right.
sense of
You're right.
decency.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, Piers Morgan, you are assisting traitors to the United States of America. You got an opportunity to ask the two of them if they condemn January 6th. Right after you gave that bullshit condemnation, you don't even believe January 6th was an attempt on American democracy. No, you don't. Because if you actually believe that in your heart of hearts, you would have asked the two of them to condemn it. But in your heart of hearts, you don't believe January 6th was an attempt on American democracy. You don't believe that. And that is why you sat there and didn't ask them anything. And instead asked Destiny, do you condemn the shooting against Donald Trump? To which then Destiny shows his ass and just completely acts a fool. I don't know what the fuck Destiny thought he was doing. But for Piers Morgan to sit there and he's not a child. He's someone who's lost his moral compass. Piers, you just purposefully avoided bridging the gap that you asked Destiny to bridge. And you're the host of the show. Piers Morgan, you are aiding traitors to the United States of America by even characterizing this conversation in this way. Destiny's actions in this panel are reprehensible and condemnable, and I condemn them. But Piers Morgan, I'm disappointed in you. You sat there and told Destiny to take the high road and build the promised land, and then when he put the ball in your court and said, you know what? Do they condemn January 6th the way that you just did? Which I don't believe for one second that you, Piers Morgan, in any way actually condemned January 6th. When you actually had the opportunity to show Destiny how it's done, you didn't do it. Because you don't actually feel that way. You're just as bad as Destiny, Dave Rubin, or whatever, Rubin, yeah, and this Charlie or Chari or whatever her name is. All four of you are insane, compromised, and two of you are traitors, and one of you is aiding in treachery. Insane. Absolutely insane. We're going to watch the rest of this. Actually, we're not, because there's really nothing else to it. Destiny effed up. Period. I don't know what y'all want me to say. Like, Destiny effed up. Bro, Destiny's in the wrong. Being unwilling to condemn the attempt on Donald Trump's life was morally wrong. It wasn't just strategically wrong. It was morally wrong. However, it needs to be acknowledged that Piers Morgan, when given an opportunity to ask the two panelists, do you condemn January 6th, he didn't do it. Piers Morgan, you don't actually condemn January 6th at all. You don't. You don't believe it was an attack on American democracy. You don't believe that Trump's actions that day were bad because you just sat there and told Destiny, build the promised land, show them how it's done. And when Destiny said, okay, shit, you do it. You didn't do it. And it's easy. You're the fucking host. You allowed Dave Rubin and this other woman who are two traitors to the United States of America to basically promote BS. You know, me personally, I don't feel as strongly about the voters, but I particularly dislike Republican politicians and media commentators. MAGA voters, I don't feel any dislike toward them. There's just something about Dave Rubin, that woman, and the Republican party. They are betraying this country by supporting Trump. At the end of the day, I really dislike what took place here. I completely condemn Destiny's behavior. I condemn Piers Morgan's behavior. And I condemn Dave Rubin and this lady's behavior, Charlie. All of them. All of their behavior condemnable. I condemn all four of these people. This behavior is unbecoming. It is disgusting. Piers Morgan, your behavior was just rodent-like. Dave Rubin, I don't know how you even have an audience. I thought you died years ago. And this woman here, I don't even know who this is, but you're a traitor to the country alongside Dave Rubin. That's all I have to say.